Harridan's back with his tail between his legs. I'm glad for your help, but I'd hoped you were Halsin. By all rights, he was a good man. I saw enough of him to agree. And I'm tired of good people dying. That's for sure.
Glad you made it inside. Doubt we'll be safe here for long, though. There'll be more coming. Goblins hunt in packs. Maybe, but we're not fighters. If they broke through, it'd be a massacre. The sooner we leave for Baldur's Gate, the better. If the road was clear, 10 days walk, maybe? But while the goblins are out there, it might as well be the other side of the world.
Glad you were here for those goblins. Picked one off yesterday myself. Shot her through the throat. Well, that should have killed her, but she kept gasping. Clawing at the arrow. That's what Zevlor said too. I hope you're right. I want to help. I just didn't think it would feel like this.
What's next?
Keep them guessing.
Heading there.
No holding back. Finding my way.
You have good timing. Never been much of a fighter, so wrestling a bugbear would have gone poorly. But you're not here for heroics, are you? Avernus's stench is all over your skin. Let me guess. Your devil mistress sent you to get her soul coin back. Too bad. I earned it, fair and square. You almost seem honest. Care to explain why you reek of the hells? Well, that's quite the story. And I thought I was doomed. Now I feel sorry for you. Here. Take this. It's worth a fortune. But a fortune's not worth much if you're dead. Consider it payment for saving my life. It's a soul wrapped up in a terrible iron package. Don't ask whose, because I don't know. I hope it brings you better luck than it has me.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
You peer through the telescope. You see a dragon circling like a bird of prey, hunting. The telescope points to the left. The telescope points straight ahead. The telescope points to the right. The telescope points straight ahead. The telescope points to the left. The telescope points straight ahead. The squirrel lunges at your foot and bites it. You follow the squirrel's gaze to a pair of clumsy, ugly feet. Your own, on her territory. Looking around, her territory extends from one end of the grove to another. She studies you for a moment before twitching her ears. Compromise. After a final squeak of warning, break the rules and there will be trouble, she scurries away.
Something over there.
about Baldur's Gate. The food. Freshest fish I've ever had.
I don't care for fish. Red meat, now, that's a different matter. Rare as can be. Dripping.
Well, unless we find a cure, you won't have any teeth to chew it with soon enough.
My, what manner of place is this? A path to redemption? Or a road to damnation? Hard to say, for your journey is just beginning.
What would suit the occasion? The words to a lullaby, perhaps. The mouse smiled brightly. It outfoxed the cat. Then down came the claw. And that, love, was that. They do know how to write them in Cormier, don't they? Well met, I am Raphael. Very much at your service. Neither. The fox, rather. Hiding, in a word. A silent observer, about to break the silence. Of course, what I have to say merits some privacy, as well as some more, let's call it, refinement. This quaint little scene is decidedly too middle of nowhere for my tastes. Come. There, middle of somewhere. The House of Hope, where the tired come to rest and the famished come to feed lavishly. Go on, partake, enjoy your supper. After all, it might just be your last. Are you not entertained? Well, far be it from me to disappoint. What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do. Am I a friend? Potentially. An adversary? Conceivably. But a savior? That's for certain. Because my compassion is boundless. I stride among the needy, giving comfort where I can. And you're in dire need. One skull, 2 tenants, and no solution in sight. I could fix it all, like that. And what is madness but a denial of reality? Still, I have a feeling you'll change your mind before it's changed for you. Try to cure yourself, shop around, beg, borrow, and steal. Exhaust every possibility until none are left. And when hope has been whittled down to the very marrow of despair, that's when you'll come knocking on my door. Hope. Such a tease. By all means, bite the hand that feeds you, while you still have teeth. All those pretty little symptoms, sundering skin, dissolving guts, they haven't manifested yet, have they? One might say you're a paragon of luck. I'll be there when it runs out.
A question for our master monster hunter. How would you approach killing a vampire?
To start, lure it into the sun, drive a stake through its heart. Why?
Just curious.
People up ahead. Something's wrong.
You're all right.
You're a true soul. You can't die. Please, stay with us.
I don't think he's conscious. Can you hear us, Ed?
You, not a step closer.
A strange symbol glows, marked on their flesh, and something within you stirs in response.
He's hurt badly, and Owlbear got him deep. If there's anything you can do...
I'm watching you.
The injured man locks eyes with you. A familiar squirming churns in your head. Useless. Your minds intertwine. You see his siblings, Andric and Brenna. New recruits. Yours to shepherd.
Protect them. She is a true soul. Mind her. She will... She...
Edwin! Ed! Please!
He's with the Absolute now. You're a true soul. Edwin, our brother, he was chosen. Like you. Do you have orders for us? We were reporting to Edwin.
What? Are you testing us?
A true soul, like you, has been chosen by the Absolute. You speak with her voice. Your words are her command. She grants you the power to enforce her will. And when the time comes, the true souls, you, will rule.
Please. Any supposed new god would have an uphill battle.
We know that all too well, ma'am, but the Absolute sent us here.
We're looking for fugitives. Survivors from that ship that crashed farther west of here. We don't know what they look like, but anyone who survived that crash is bound to be injured. That's enough to get us started. The Absolute wants them found. At any cost.
I don't know any druids.
What? And just... leave Ed? I suppose he'd want us to go on. Find a way to honor his sacrifice.
May the Absolute guide us.
They spoke of the Absolute. Same as that goblin, Sazza. Curious.
Seems like a popular little deity, whoever they are.
Strange power resonates within the corpse. It calls to you. Your limbs move of their own accord. There's something of value, something your mind craves. Why let its host's memories go to waste? The tadpole has absorbed it all. Its experience could nourish you, strengthen you. Your muscles loosen. The tadpole breaks free of its deceased host. Your mind is your own again. For now.
Owlbear tracks.
Its nest must be nearby.
That stench. Dead owlbear prey, no doubt.
You feel the quake of its heavy footsteps before you see it. An owlbear, its beaked face looming out of the darkness. You can only surmise the obvious. The owlbear is out for blood. The owlbear stares, but doesn't move to attack. The way out seems clear.
Let's go.
End this. Have to keep going.
Time to push my luck again. What path lies before me?
ready. Got to press on.
Can't even catch my breath.
Cub looks from you to his dead mother. A single strike will end his suffering. You watch, speechless, as the cub begins to eat his mother.
The cub has a fighting chance now.
That, or we've just prolonged its misery. I've got a long road ahead.
What's that?
Oblivious to your presence, the cub continues to gorge himself on his dead mother.
An owlbear egg. These are supposed to be worth a fortune. More owlbear eggs. Already hatched. No point in taking these.
A shrine to Saluna. Quaint. A magical seal. No, not picking that.
that?
A prayer sheet. With the same symbol as the one on the chest. This thing won't yield its contents easily.
What now?
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
As much love as I hold for Baldur's Gate, these frontiers delight me as much as any bustling street.
You can't be serious. This is a howling wasteland. I haven't even had a bath since the abduction. I must reek of illicit slime.
Sure, but think of the stories you'll be able to tell. The Devil with the Silver Tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales, don't you think? Refuse him no matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you. The cost's always too great. That's because you still have hope. But when he becomes your last hope, remember this. He'll require of you only what you're least ready to part with. And then require more still. You might think you'd give up anything for a cure. But the devil won't take just anything. He'll take everything.
Now there's a bloody devil trailing after us. Well, this gets better and better. Shop around, he said. He seems sure we won't find anything. And he might be right. We've had no luck so far. If we don't know what we're walking into, that bridge will collapse under us. The devil has a plan. He's playing with us. He reminds me of, well, someone I used to know. Someone I like to play with people. Creatures like them don't play games unless they know they can win. We keep hunting for answers. What other choice do we have? This is no ordinary Mind Flayer parasite. Who tampered with it, and why? What do they have planned for us? And why are we important enough that a devil comes knocking on our door? If we find those answers, we might have a chance.
Bloody hells. Literally. Just when I think I've got a grasp on our dilemma, a devil shows up. No matter. We've dealt with every other oddity thrown at us lately. We can handle this one too. Now, as for this Raphael, he knows our secret. He claims he can help. What do you make of him? I suppose it was a lot to take in. A devil sought us out, teased us with his help, but he also stared as if we were the banquet, rather than the one on the table. We can't hedge our bets here. Best we decide how to deal with him, if at all. You know, failing to make a decision is the same as making a decision. Except you decide blindly. My point is that Raphael was stirring the pot, trying to unsettle us. I know people who work much like our new acquaintance does. You don't need a scourge or a rack to break people. Fear and self-doubt is sufficient. When actual pain comes, the victim's already done the heavy lifting for their torturer. There were no right answers with that devil. He was toying with his food. Us. I respect his craft. As should you. Watch out for that devil. Fine. What's on your mind? I saw you training those children. You were so gentle. That's not how I was taught.
Cruel words strengthen neither heads nor hearts, Shadowheart.
I wouldn't quite say that. I learned a lesson, after all.
And came to resent your tutor, I bet. I taught them to fight, not to hate.
Do you have someone waiting for you in Baldur's Gate estate? sweetheart, perhaps?
Not one in particular. The city is a veritable feast of sweethearts.
You must be eager to get back, then. Slimmer pickings out in this wilderness. So, Will, what was the Blade of Frontier's toughest kill?
Ah, it was a great scrap. A hungry minotaur with a hankering for human flesh. An axe-bearing mountain of fur she was. Gave me a nasty scar.
I hope you don't mind if I don't ask to see it.
The dog lowers his hackles, his head tilted inquisitively. Convinced that you're harmless, he turns his attention back to the corpse. With a deep, heartbroken whine, the dog bows his head. The dog whimpers nervously, as if to urge you on. The dog looks at his owner with sad eyes. He does not move. The dog sniffs your hand, his tail swung low in understanding. He knows how to find you.
Strange. It looks healthy, but it's stone dead.
Who cares about some pig? It's dead. Let's go. The pig's dead, my friend. Staring at it won't bring it back. Come on. We'll never fix these brainworms if we stop and gawk at every piece of carrion you find.
The boar seems to be fresh, only a few hours dead. Examining the corpse, you see 2 small puncture wounds in its neck.
And is it dead enough for you? Yes, I know. It's a waste of our time, and I'm done indulging you.
We shouldn't be hanging around.
Give it a rest. We have time.
Maybe you do.
Thought you was busy with the foul bloods in Elson's Grove. Not no more. The contract didn't mention no goblins. I would have prepped the lads, brought better weapons. The kind that leaves half your crew dead. There's a wizard in Baldur's Gate that'll pay gobloads for a relic, supposedly buried round these parts. But gold ain't any use if you're too cold to spend it. Whatever you say, mate. Look, we're getting out of here. You should do the same. Come on. We're wasting time.
go then.